Hi, I'm Representative Kate Klunk from the 169th District in Southern York County. Today, I am here at Pennsylvania's Farm Show with our Agriculture Secretary, Russell Redding. Secretary, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's great to see you. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. So we're here at the Farm Show. What is so impressive and important about Pennsylvania's Farm Show? Everyone wants to come here for the food, the animals. Why? Why the Pennsylvania Farm Show?
Well, I think there's obviously history here, right? So you sort of feel connected to it. It's been a great part of Pennsylvania's history. You start a new century this year with the 101st Farm Show. But to be honest, probably food, right?
So what's your favorite?
I have to have the chocolate milkshake.
Chocolate milkshake.
Right?
Mine's vanilla.
Yeah.
So
I have this chocolate milkshake and a baked potato, and I call it a Happy Meal.
There
right?
you go.
So to me, that's mine.
Well, it is just fantastic being here at the Farm Show today. Last night, you and I both drove in the Mike Wall, or my former senator, late Senator Mike Wall's draft horse competition. What was it like to ride those horses last night and drive that carriage?
You know, I say this pretty honestly. You know, there are few things that intimidate me here. But getting up on the draft horses with the driver, 10 feet off the ground, all this horsepower, I like those experiences, but every time I do it, I'm a little cautious. I love to do it. It's amazing. And to see folks jump in there and just have a great time.
It's a lot of fun, and all the proceeds go to the Farm Show Foundation.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about the Farm Show Foundation and the money that we raised last night and where it goes?
Yeah, so the foundation was started a couple of years ago as a way to, there's needs that we have in the complex to host a show with 500,000 people. You're not going to get all of that out of an appropriation. You're not going to get it all generated out of the business of this complex. So the foundation took on the task of raising money. And everything they do as a Farm Show Foundation is in support of this farm show. I think it's an amazing contribution of both time and talent of that board and the foundation partners. But things like last night, when you do these special fundraisers, those dollars flow back to the students and kids in this industry. So
absolutely, and that's the future of agriculture here in Pennsylvania. Our students, our 4-H, our FFA. Can you talk a little bit about what's on the horizon for them, that next generation of farmers, and what we need to do to get our young people interested and excited about agriculture?
Well, I think it's an amazing time. I mean, I think just the national, international forces, you just look at what's happening in terms of food and the need for food, the growth populations, and you realize that there's a very special skill and talent vested with agriculture generally, but also the people who are associated with it, 4-H and FFA members, and the opportunity for them to sort of be involved in some aspect. It's not all about the production, it starts there, right? It's the veterinarian, it's the soil conservationist, it's the chemist. They're all the skills that we need, and we find with these students who are in the FFA and 4-H, but a bright future.
Well, and in my district, we're not far away from each other. We're only a stone's throw away, Adams County and York County. And my district, particularly in Hanover, we have a number of food manufacturers, from Hanover Foods, Snyder's, Utz Potato Chips, Appio is a new one, and many, many more. So in my local district, it's very important that we get out there, and I know that your staff has been down in our area promoting those jobs and that workforce development, and I really want to thank you for that, because there's jobs of the 21st century that we're going to need to fill in my district, and they're ag-related jobs.
They're ag-related jobs. Part of the conversation we've started at the state is that as a state, we conveniently place some food processing and manufacturing. From my standpoint, our standpoint in industry, you can title it what you want, but at the end of the day, it is driven off of raw product development and value-added products, and that is a part of process, right? So it's production, it's value-added in one of the great companies that are adding value to the food. That's a real job. Then you have all the distribution of that. We look at that as part of agriculture in Pennsylvania.
So in agriculture in Pennsylvania, #1 industry.
It's 258,000 direct jobs, another 250,000 indirect jobs, so 500,000 people in agriculture employed.
Well, and that's why I really wanted to talk to you today too about this change in the administration in Washington, D.C., and making sure that Pennsylvania is on that map when it comes to agriculture as our #1 industry. As of today, we don't have a Secretary of Agriculture pick from President-elect Donald Trump. Can you give me and my constituents at home kind of if you had a crystal ball, what do you see as being the issues of the next Ag Secretary for the United States of America, and really what our ag policy should be moving forward in the next 4 years?
Well, it is for us one of the most critical appointments. I would probably put the U.S. Trade Ambassador sort of next to this
USTR
appointment.
for sure.
USTR, right? So in this business, this is about access to folks around the world who are interested in your product, right? Agriculture, 30% of what we produce is exported. Really important. Specific to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the important things that we sometimes rush by are the public health and safety, the avian influenza issues, the animal health. Our partner in that is the U.S. Department of Agriculture. All of the food programs, the charitable food programs, are our partner through the USDA. Two very specific issues for this administration: immigration and what happens and what form that takes, and obviously with the trade agreements and negotiations. So I would say to the new secretary, they're going to be the top priorities that Pennsylvania is watching very closely. So I'm anxious to get the appointments made.
Well, Mr. Secretary, the international trade component is huge for agriculture, and I know we just recently had some folks from South Korea come and visit Pennsylvania. Can you talk a little bit about Pennsylvania's relationship with the South Koreans when it comes to agriculture, and trips that maybe you've taken all around the world to really expand Pennsylvania's agriculture brand throughout the entire world?
Yeah, so it was fascinating because the interest of the South Koreans was in what the United States was doing with avian influenza, right? And they watched this disaster play out in the Midwest over a year ago, wondering how that was going to sort of continue, if it would continue. So they visited with the federal partners, but they actually came to Pennsylvania to ask very specifically the questions of our biosecurity measures in avian influenza. What impressed them most was that we have a diagnostic, an animal health diagnostic system that connects the University of Pennsylvania Vet School with Penn State University, our land grant, and the Department of Agriculture in a real-time diagnostic surveillance. And they we think, left sort of reassured that product flowing out of Pennsylvania to South Korea was safe. It was obviously secure. But it's a reminder of how small this world is.
It is.
Right? You have to have that conversation. Yeah, because they're buying a lot of poultry.
Well, and that's really exciting for Pennsylvania poultry farmers. I know I have some in my local district and some in Adams County just across the border. So it's great to see that you as our secretary are looking at expanding those relationships around the world, not only here at home, but around the world, because really the United States feeds the world.
Well, there are 95% of the available stomachs are someplace other than the United States of America. Right, so it's a big place, and the growth is going to happen in Asia and the African countries in the next 30 years. So we need to be there.
Well, and we're going to be there. Pennsylvania's going to be there.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to feeding a lot of those hungry stomachs.
Yeah, look forward to it. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Secretary.
Pleasure to see you.
Appreciate it.
Great, thank you.